Hello world, as you remember, receiving a disciplinary punishment is extremely unpleasant and negatively affects your record. But there is a difference. As my lawyer said, while you are in Pretrial Detention Center, you are considered a suspect or an accused, but not convicted. So in Pretrial Detention, a person's guilt is not proven, and therefore there is no need for them to reform. So you don't have to worry about disciplinary punishment in Pretrial Detention Center. But is it really so in practice? For sure not, of course not. In Pretrial Detention, you can receive a reprimand or be placed in punishment cell. And it's an extremely unpleasant place. Fortunately, I haven't had to experience it, but those who have spent there a few days, then they returned to the general cell as they were on a resort. And the punishment cell are located in the basement of the third building in the Pretrial Detention where I've been, number 6. And you can be placed there for conflicts and fights with cellmates, or disobedience, insulting the detention facility staff, or worse, attacking them, minor hooliganism, and gambling, as I told you before that it's forbidden to have playing cards in that places. Then what else? Manufacturing, processing or using drugs, psychotropic substances or alcoholic beverages, and manufacturing and processing prohibited items. So placement in solitary confinement can also be imposed for smaller offenses if the suspect or accused already has 2 or more reprimands and it don't have an effect on the prisoner. So the administration resorts to a stricter measure by placing the person in solitary confinement. And suspects and accused individuals can be held there for up to 15 days. And it's funny that it's written that for good behavior they may be released earlier, but it's an utopia, as you understand. For bad behavior, even if there are no any bad behavior, just they need to punish the prisoner for a long time, an additional 15 days can be added. And it's a super cold and small cell with iron bed that is attached to the wall after waking up, so that the prisoner can't lay down during the whole day. And shipments, visit for relatives, television and other small joys are prohibited there, and complete social isolation. So there is absolutely nothing to do in solitary confinement. However, you can wear your own clothes and have some personal belongings, food and essential items, like including cigarettes. Why I tell you this because when you come to colony, there are another rules of placing the prisoner to punishment cell, and placement in punishment confinement can only occur after a medical examination. The report must state that the prisoner can tolerate the conditions. In other words, individuals with serious illnesses such as cancer or HIV, disabilities, and pregnant women are not placed in solitary confinement. So those who had HIV could write as many reprimands as they wanted, but they wouldn't be placed in solitary confinement. That's why Fox, as I told you about her, made the alcohol in a huge amounts that she knew. Because of her weak health, she wouldn't get to punishment confinement. As she was saying, no matter how many reprimands they write to her, she will wipe herself with them. And I received one reprimand. As you remember, I was a roadie, I worked as a roadie, and intercell communication was strictly prohibited. And one night, one of the cellmates urgently needed to communicate with another cell that refused to make road. So we decided to reach them no matter what, because I take my responsibilities seriously. And I knocked on the wall with my hands and with my feet and shouted at the window, trying to get the attention of the desired cell. And naturally, of course, the administration noticed this, and during this night, the hedge in the door to cell opened, and an employee demanded an explanation from me, the road worker. So no one of disabled or HIV positive individuals wanted to help me to write the explanation. nor did the girl who desperately needed to communicate with that cell. Although they wouldn't face any consequences for writing it. Well, okay, that's how things are in that setting. So I wrote an explanation, and stating that I shouted at the window and knocked on the wall due to my hyperactivity and insomnia, carefully avoiding mentioning intercell communication. Like, I'm crazy, and that's why I was so hyperactive, and that's why I was shouting and screaming like that. Yeah, fun, but it's strictly prohibited to make roads between cells, and that's why I was writing such funny stuff. And a few days later, I was called for a hearing. There was a small room, and girls from other cells who had violated the rules were also brought out. So we stood in line in a small room where five facility workers, staff members, were sat. And it seems the supervisor, the one sitting in the middle, said to me that, so, road worker, are you facilitating inter-cell communication? Like it was the question, but in fact it sounds as a question with answer without any question. So I couldn't find the words to answer, and I think I blushed, and he was so, rude, and that's why I just lost all my words, and I couldn't, because it was so funny what I wrote in this paper, why I was so hyperactive, and that's why I couldn't say anything to them. And everything happened very quickly, and in my record there was now a notice indicating that I receive a reprimand for intercell communication. And I think that lots of people who were with me in the cell, who could write it and have no any consequences, they were like really happy that I get this note, and it was like they were, oh, poor you are that you get this note in your record, but in fact they were happy that I get such characteristics, and it was really unhuman relationships. And after it was like half a year, I was in pretrial detention, and I get this mark on my record. And after that, after one half a year more, yeah, after 1 year, I get to colony, and I will tell you how it affected my fate in detention when I arrive at the correctional colony, because as my lawyer said, that no need to be worried for, but in fact they were pressing me in correctional colony after this note, and I will tell you when I will get there, I will tell you how it went. So thank you for being with me. Peace and goodness to everyone. Hope to see you soon. Bye.